All right, hey everybody, TG here. How's it going out there? Let's see, it is January 20th. It's Inauguration Day. We did have our Martin Luther King 3-day weekend, and from what I understand, not too many fireworks went off, so it was good. Nothing crazy went on. The markets seem to be happy about that. Everything seems to be right in the world right now. The markets are up, and they're up pretty big, but we have to find the particular strength because a lot of the names I'm in not doing so well today. I think that a lot of them are flagging, but let's go look around, figure out what's going on out there, and where the next opportunities are. And part of that is if you guys come over here to simplertrading.com/identify-replay, because it's now the replay version of it. This is the webinar that I did last week, and today is actually proving and verifying a lot of the things that I said in there, especially about the big caps and where they are going, and the fact that we're seeing some of this stuff on the larger time frames, like on the monthly time frames. So today they're having a good day. We'll go dive into some of that, but be sure to come over here. We'll post the link in the chat room, and make sure you go check this out because there was a lot of stuff that I said in here, and I want to make sure you guys are up to speed and on it for 2021. Yeah, Sele, good to see you. Mo, good to see you. And then for the rest of you, come over here to profitpilot.com, and this is where you guys can check out everything that I write. And if you guys are interested in how I trade and the Moxie indicator and the alert service, you go over here to services and come down here to subscription or class. There you go. All right, so if we're looking in through here, I just want to talk about the market for a little bit. I know it's been a little, people have been a little bit concerned about what's going on, and I kind of figured that, they know enough of what to do now at this point to kind of make things secure and make sure that the inauguration happens without a hiccup. Nothing political, just, hey, this is our process. It's a transfer of power, and we want to make sure that we as America, we do that smoothly. And so there were some, concerns, but I think those concerns have been taken care of, and the market is making new highs. Now, the only thing I tend to say about this when the market makes new highs is kind of like, well, how did it make these new highs and how is price moving right now? And honestly, what I'm looking at, I think I need to unplug and plug this thing back in because it is not activating. All right. The only concern that I have with this, oh, come on, there we go, is finally that we're up here. We're up here at the third ATR on the hourly chart. We've gone vertical. Yesterday was kind of a nice recovery. Today it just shoots straight up. And we're kind of extended, like we're up here on the 15-minute. We're kind of up in no man's land. Even on the hourly chart, where are we up here? We're just kind of floating up there. And typically what happens is we see some sort of pullback. Now, this isn't disastrous. I'm not saying we need anything wrong. I'm saying this is the normal ebb and flow of the market. And we need to be prepared for the markets to pull back. And so you may be seeing out there in your names that they are not responding in the same way that the market is moving. And it's because they too are like, yeah, okay, we get it. The market's going to have to pull back. So why am I going up right now? I'm just waiting for the market to pull back and then I'll go with it the next time. And so what we can see is I'm kind of looking at something like this. You see how last time that the market really jumped up and what it do? It pulled back to a moving average. So, we see the market jumping up like this. I wouldn't be surprised to see the market pull back at some point. Maybe this is also one of those buy the rumors, sell the news. Everyone, like last week we had Biden come out and talk about his stimulus plan. Well, the market went down right after that, right? Probably because they try and say, stimulus plan, that's going to make the market go up. That's already baked in. Everybody knew that the stimulus plan was coming, and just because he now talks about it, it really doesn't mean anything. So buy the rumor, sell the news. The same situation might be happening with the inauguration. Everyone's like, waiting for anything to happen because of the inauguration. And so we buy the rumor, okay, inauguration, and now he's in. It's like, okay, let's bring it down a little bit. So just don't be surprised if stuff like that happens. From a technical standpoint, I'm seeing that the markets are just, overbought right now for the day, and we'll need to kind of give it a break. Now, let's go over to the Qs. Yeah, Danny, good to see you. And I'll be running through some names in a moment. I want to kind of take a look at the markets in general. So, look, I would say that the strength is in the NASDAQ right now. And this, if you guys go back to what I was talking about with my replay, come check this out because this is the kind of stuff that I was talking about in that. And that the energy right now is in the NASDAQ. and you can see just clearly this thing is screaming today. And I even mentioned to my subscribers yesterday. So if you guys are looking for, myself, how I guide everyone into the market and what I'm doing, and real time, I'm talking to them, saying, hey, I think this is looking good. This is why, all this kind of stuff. We discussed some divergences that I was seeing here on the Moxie indicator, and said, hey, I think this is what we're looking for. So if you guys want that kind of good service, this is what I do for the Moxie subscribers. Now let's go over to the IWM. Sorry, getting all these robocalls, right? All right, so if we go over to the IWM, yeah, it's still up, still doing well. Everything's fine with it. Maybe it's getting a little overextended, we know that, but it can stay overextended for a while. It can do that. It just kind of gets up there, pulls back a little bit, gets up there, pulls back, gets up there, pulls back. So it might be kind of doing the same thing. It might be ready for a little bit of a pullback. Nothing major, just kind of a pullback. And then also keep in mind that with the big names, the big caps, launching today. Like, you guys see Netflix? I think this was kind of no surprise, actually. But look at Netflix. Big move up because of earnings. They had good stuff. And this is what I was talking about when, in the presentation that I had, the replay, we're talking about the monthly charts. These things look fine on the higher time frames. And then, so Netflix moved up. Let's see. Let's kind of go run through them. Facebook, even though it's been having some issues, look what it did. It basically just bounced right off of the daily 200 and finally reversed. You could see it started yesterday. Now it's not out of the woods. It still needs to do some work and it has earnings, but it bounced. It's doing pretty well. How about Amazon? I'll just kind of run through the FANG names. Same thing, kind of just mostly going sideways. Today it's a really nice up day. How did we know? Double bottom, positive divergence. Look at that 15-minute Moxie indicator over there, and yesterday it held the 15-minute 50, so that was pretty good. Apple, kind of look at that one. Look here. We've been talking about this for quite some time. In fact, all the way back here, we were talking about this as price running right into its previous high, just like a natural double top. It's going to be natural resistance. It was too high, and then it pulled back. And actually, it was just doing a pretty nice orderly pullback into basically an uptrending daily 50. We got a squeeze going on. Price really wasn't falling apart. You could see this level on the 15. There was the Moxie indicator trending up. Everything was looking fine with it. It's just needing to take some time and wait till it found that support. And there you go. It looks like it's doing it today. Let's see. Google's up, And what did it do? More or less is kind of flagging. Couldn't exactly bounce off the daily 50, but if you look here, here's your level. It just couldn't go any lower. And the Moxie indicator kept trending up. Here's your level. There's your positive divergence, right there. And now Google's up. So this is why all the energy is in the NASDAQ, and stuff like in the IWM, they're getting a bit of a vacuum right now because all the volume's going into these names right now. How about Microsoft? Good day on Microsoft. And this is the kind of stuff I was saying, that really these big names are just flagging sideways on higher time frame charts, and I wouldn't throw the towel in with them yet. You had your double bottom, here's your double bottom, there's your positive divergence. Price got over the 15-minute 50 yesterday, and now these things are moving up. Are they buyable right now? No, I would wait for some sort of pullback. There's going to be some rotation of money right now. The money right now is coming into these big names. They're up. Well, they're going to fade in day 2, 3, 4, whatever. They're going to fade. They're going to come back down to support, and then that money might go back into the IWM and the small caps. Not entirely sure, but oftentimes that's kind of what we see. And I think that kind of covers it for the big names and everything like that. I mean, even like Docu has been starting to take off. It's doing fine. Bounced off of the daily 50, all that kind of stuff. So, don't have any worries. Tesla, I think, is doing all right. Oops. Let's make sure I don't push the wrong button. All right, Tesla. It seemed, I think there was an upgrade on Tesla today. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be shorting Tesla at all. The question is just when you take a little bit off and cash in, Well, when it jumps up like this, that's usually a pretty good time to take a little bit off. That way, when it goes sideways like this, that you at least have the cushion and the ability to just kind of hang out for it. Yep, Andrew, we got big tech reporting earnings, so be aware of that. This maybe is like a little run up into earnings, and then who knows what's going to go on with earnings. So, and let's see. So yeah, okay, let's talk about Bitcoin too. If we actually look at slash BTC, that's one way to look at it. Really just overbought. Really overbought. I was trading some names related to Bitcoin, and we basically got out right there. So that was pretty cool. And then, double bottom, a little bit of a run up, but still not quite there on the Moxie indicator. So we're just hanging out. If you look here, this is, price couldn't hold the hourly 50 for that either, and it's just kind of going sideways. Now, I don't know how big this pullback is going to be. That's why I always say I never know how far a pullback is going to go. But I do know what I'm looking for an entry, and that's why a lot of times when things just get overbought, I just step aside and get out. Let's see, GBTC is kind of an example. Just couldn't quite do it. And what you could see here is price was getting rejected by the underside of the 15-minute 50 with the Moxie indicator below 0. So that was pretty clear, and you could just see here price was not holding anything either. I still fully believe that Bitcoin is generally in an uptrend. I got no worries about that, but it's just not ready to run right now. How about Riot? Riot, overbought. And you could see here, price was running right into the underside of a downtrending 15-minute 50, and the Moxie indicator was below 0. Those are the signs and signals that, hey, price gets pushed around or follows these moving averages. And you can see that it was underneath the moving averages with the Moxie indicator below 0. It's telling you, I don't think I really want to be going up right now. So sure enough, it went down, and you can see today it fell off of the hourly 50. Now, where's the bottom? We don't know yet. We just have to kind of keep waiting for this to turn around and do all that kind of stuff. But one day, these things will catch a bid, and then we can jump back into them. But for now, they just kind of need to take a little bit of a break. Yeah, so Mo got you on the Amazon, and so Sele, let's look at SRNE. I know you have been very concerned or particular about that, so let me help quell your fears a little bit. Also, you probably just need to ask the question once. All right, so if you look at SRNE, we actually discussed this last time that we were here live in the markets. And I said, well, I don't know how much energy there's going to be in it, but I said, if it's going to go here. And I said, yeah, it generally looks all right, but I don't know how much oomph it's going to have. I think they were in the news, something like an upgrade or whatever, so there was a lot of momentum, a lot of volume that came in. But on the higher time frame charts, look what this thing was doing. Basically just going sideways into the monthly 10 SMA. How about on the weekly? Right into the 50 SMA. This all looked pretty good as far as the charts go. And then if we look here, we'll kind of zoom out a little bit more on the daily here, and you can see that when I was live with you guys last week on this place, you can even go back and look at that one. I drew a line here and I said, yeah, if this is going to go, this is where I would get in. You can see we've got a double bottom, we've got positive divergence, price was starting to get over the daily 50, and we had price over the hourly 50, the Moxie indicator was above 0, everything was looking pretty good here, and that's why I drew my line right here and said, I'm not going to be in because I don't have enough money to go put in, and I'm not sure what it's going to do, but let me go paper trade with you, and let's go say, if I were going to be in, let's be in right here. Now, as I said, something news came out, and you can see clearly a lot of volume surge all came in, and then you can see here price has now jumped up 33%. Now, there are a couple ways you can play this. One, it's pretty overbought for right now. So if you have a very short-term option, or if you're a little skittish, or you're just like, I'd like to pocket some, yeah, it's a great place to just pocket some cash because it's pretty extended. It's up there. Now, if you want to be hanging on to this thing and you're like, yeah, I think this thing's going to keep going for the next several days or weeks or whatever, then you should be okay with this because it will probably pull back or go sideways into support. And then I do think it's going to be taken off more. I don't see any reason why this won't continue to keep moving up generally. The big volume, big move up, yeah, it's got people's attention. It's going to probably keep going up. But there can be a pullback. Watch for it to pull back to support. That's fine. And then just see where you want to add more if you want to be adding more. And then if you take a little bit off if you want to just cash them in. So that's how you kind of do that stuff. Yeah, Austin, let's take a look at some solar stuff. Do I think it's over? It might be taking a break. I could see it taking a break for a moment because it is getting pretty extended, pretty far away from the daily 50, kind of like this, pretty far away from the daily 50. And yeah, the Moxie indicator is now below 0. You had your negative divergence right there, higher high on price, lower high on the Moxie indicator. There's your negative divergence. So yeah, I could see it taking a break, but I would still be bullish on it, but just maybe not right now. I could probably use a little rest. And let's see, FSLR. First Solar has always been a little slow. Now, First Solar actually doesn't look too bad. It's choppy, so I'm not getting the clearest situation here on the Moxie indicator, but it looks as though it likes to hold the hourly 200. So I'd say probably if it can hold the hourly 200, and then more so if it can at least hold the daily 50, I think that thing would be fine. But it's getting a little bit choppy. It's probably just going to try and catch its breath because there have been some insane moves, like Sol. I mean, look at that thing. It just keeps going. And then Solar Edge. You know, every once in a while you get a little plunk down like that, but it just kind of came back down to the daily 50. So if it can hold the daily 50, it should be all right. You just kind of need to watch and wait for it to turn. It's not ready to turn yet. So yeah, some stuff like that. All right, let's kind of keep going. So yeah, Julio, as far as Mara and Riot, I wouldn't quite get in yet. They're not holding yet. And yeah, let's see, Neo, because we're always talking about Neo. I think it's fine, just kind of resting. It could go lower, but I'm fine with Neo long term. You can see that we have the previous high right there, and price is right there, and you can see so far it's resting there. But there's no guarantee that it's not going to dip lower. It can always dip a little bit lower, but it does look to me like it's trying to put in a double bottom right here, but it's not there yet. So if and when we can confirm that price is ready to go up from this like pullback flag, then we can add more. But I'm not quite there yet. I'm happy with what I have right now, and I'm just kind of waiting. I'm just happy and waiting for Neo. All right, Mo, let's take a look at Blink. I know you're a little excited about it this morning, but let me show you this. This is some of the stuff. These are the details, Mo, that you need to pay attention to. This hourly chart right here looks a lot like Neo. And if you look at Neo, what's going on? It's trying to put in a double bottom. And so this is the leg, heel, arch of the foot. We're trying to put in the ball of the foot right now, and then maybe we'll get that elf toe later. And what about the 15-minute time frame? You see that move up today? That move up today was just a pierce through a downtrending 15-minute 50. You see the X? You don't want to trade the X. You want to trade a parallel. You want to trade parallel like that. So we need to wait until for Blink for price to, let me kind of get all these, for price to get up and over the 15-minute 50 and start scooping it up like that. So I fully believe that Blink is going to be fine. Again, I think this is kind of talking about some of that rotation. There's all the volume today is going into the big cap names and kind of leaving these other ones out to dry for a little bit, but that's fine. They're just gearing up. Like if we look at this, we have price coming into the 21. You know, we have a double bottom trying to form. I just don't see any problem. They just need to kind of hang out and rest for a little bit. Oh yeah, let me show you UAVS. So anybody who wonders what we do and how I do it, I have been talking about UAVS since the last presentation I did on November 30th. And we nailed it from down here all the way up to here. I think it was, what, 200, what do we say, 200? Yeah, 210% roughly. And then we just nailed another one, like roughly from here to here, 100, 107%. Kind of depends on where you got in. But we got a solid 100% trade in just a few days on UAVS, and this is another one that I'm going to be keeping. So if you guys kind of like this activity, this is what I'm talking about, come over here, simplertrading.com, identify-replay, so you can check out all the things that I'm talking about. I give out a few freebie trades or things that I'm looking at out there. And then if you guys are interested in how I trade or the Moxie indicator, come over here, profitpilot.com/services, and you guys can go sign up. And thank you to all the new people who have been signing up. It's great to see all of you there, and I hope I can just do the best for you. All right, kind of looking at sale. Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with sale. Look at these things. Doesn't this look just great? Looks fine to me. It'd be great to see if we can see sale just continue to sail over the hourly 50. Let me put a line there, because that looks pretty good. I'd be in there. Sale looks great. Zuo, let's see what's going on. Yeah, Zuo looks fine. I mean, look at this thing. It's just flagging. You know, this is probably going to be a double bottom. and double bottom, a little bit of divergence. You know, if price can start to engage with the 15-minute 50 and stay over the hourly 50, then it's great. It's just going sideways. So Zuo looks good. Nice. I see you guys chatting in the chat room. Julio, Moxie is the best. Average 35% monthly since November. Thank you. Do appreciate it. Yeah, and then Imram, I saw that you were talking about INUV. Fantastic follow through. Now, there have been, again, this market is on fire and you just got to know the right sectors. The genomics and the biotech and the therapeutics, that space has really been exploding. It's not exactly a place that I like to trade because a lot of it is kind of based on news and they could be winners or losers or they could just move a lot. But Imram came out here and he mentioned this one yesterday here because of the extreme volume that this thing had. I mean, it went from, not having a ton of volume, 11 million to 263 million. Yeah, there's a good chance that just from sheer momentum of people buying and all that volume, that it's going to push through the next day. So Imram, I don't know what you did, but if you bought here and you sold this morning, let's see, just on average, that was 47% overnight. So pretty good. Good job on something like that. Now, where do you go from here? Really, really hard to say. These things are outside of any parameters that I use to figure out what the price is doing. There is still big volume. The only kind of guide I can give you is, let's see if this thing can stay over the 15-minute 50. But when you get moves like this, I just take them off on the way up because there's no way of knowing where they're going to go next, and they can roll over just as quickly as they go up. Yeah, Mo, thanks for the good words. And let's see. Yeah, Jonathan, let's take a look at edit. Goes along with those genomic stuff. Yeah, last time we talked about edit, I said it wasn't quite ready. I think it still needed a little bit of time, but overall I think it's fine. Like, big picture, it's still fine. But you can see here that price actually got rejected by the underside of the hourly 50 with the Moxie indicator below zero. You can see here the 15-minute 200 was the other one. So it just wasn't quite ready there. You're going to have to keep waiting and seeing. Maybe we're starting to see some positive divergence on the 15, like price down. The Moxie indicator is up. Maybe price is going to find some support at the hourly 200 and the daily 21. I can't tell yet. It hasn't confirmed yet. But I wouldn't be surprised if that's what you want to start looking for. But you got to wait for it to actually confirm. If we look at, say, CRSP is kind of another one. I said CRISPR was actually looking good to keep going up. It pretty much has. You can see here it was kind of flagging right there, popped up. Got a little overheated, a little too high up here, and pulled back. As I said, I'm not sure where the pullback is going to go, but generally, CRISPR looks like it's still in an uptrend, so that kind of stuff is fine. And then Mo, yeah, you've been talking about Nikola for a bit. Now, I will say, the pattern looks fine. We did trade it back here. We made 62%-ish on that one, so that was good. And I do like the pattern, just, I think I would personally stay a little bit away from it just because of all the news and the stuff that's going around it and the CEO and, there's just a lot of tumultuous news surrounding Nikola. So careful with that. But if I were to just say a chart, you got price down, Moxie indicator up, so that's great. You can see here, price down, Moxie indicator up, that's where the price trigger fired. And guys, if you have the Moxie indicator, you can scan for price triggers like that. So this one, look at that. The Moxie indicator on a scan would have brought Nikola to you at exactly the right moment to get in on that. And then you could add more right here when price bounced off the hourly 50. And now it looks to me like it's just trying to get past the daily 50. So yeah, as far as the chart pattern, looks great. As far as the company and kind of the news around it, I might kind of not want to be up in that thing. All right, Skylar, let's see, MYSZ. I have not heard of this one before, so let's see. Let me kind of take a look at the higher time frames. Yeah, it's a little small, a little weird. You might need to be careful. I can't even find that one anymore. Might want to be a little bit careful. It does look like it's doing well, holding the daily 50, holding the here and here. Okay, it's got decent volume, but it looks a little tricky. I don't know, is this in the biotech stuff too? My size? Yeah, I don't even know what that is. So, it looks okay. Just not my cup of tea. Imran, thanks. Appreciate it. Yeah, okay, so President Biden, well, I guess, well, his speech, so I guess president-elect right now, and he will be president later today. Let's see, does that have anything to do with the markets? No, the markets are still doing just fine. They're just overextended, all right? Just be fully prepared for the market to pull back sometime in the very near future. How about let's kind of look at some of the precious metals and what's going on there. This was another thing that I talked about, and I said, I think on the larger time frame charts, the precious metals are looking fine. They're looking really great. And there was a little bit of a move the other day. Some people were talking about the dollar and all that, but really, if we look here on gold, it's just doing a double bottom, like right there. It's doing a double bottom, bouncing off of the daily 200. Look at our positive divergence. So again, if you guys don't have the Moxie indicator and you're wondering what all this is about, I'm telling you, it works for me. It does a great job. And here on the 15, you can see price down, Moxie indicator up, and another little trick. You know, for those of you who have the Moxie indicator or don't, and you're trying to figure out how I do this stuff, one of my rules is you guys see here how the Moxie indicator was very spread from each other. That's not strong. That means it doesn't really agree with each other. That is how you stay away from a false entry, because the Moxie indicator right here was telling you, nope, this is not a very strong trade. And you can see it never held the 15-minute 50. Now look, yesterday, what happened? The Moxie indicator looked much, much tighter, looked like one line. That is a good strong trend, and that's a good trade. And you can see price got over the 15-minute 50 right there. And we continued to have the Moxie indicator looking very, very strong. So at this point, I'm just looking for pullbacks into support, start following these moving averages. Gold looks good. Silver looks even better. Yeah. And Thomas, no, we are still working. I'll get a status update, but we are working on Moxie for TradingView, and I think we want it on Tastyworks or Tastytrade, and we wanted it on some other platforms. So we are working on it. You're just gonna have to be patient as we develop it. And then yeah, silver's looking good. We got price basically bouncing off of the daily 50, double bottom. You know, there's your double bottom. There's your positive divergence. Yeah, everything's looking great here. So there you go. Jamie, I like to make sure that I have strength on the hourly chart, and then I'll finesse my entry on the 15. Not always, but that's how I kind of find my most precise entries is based on the 15-minute time frame. So, all right, guys, remember to come check out the webinar that I had from Thursday last week. There's a lot of information in there. I think that you guys want to know what's going on out there in 2021 because, as I said, you know, bring it on. I'm ready for it. I had about 300% account gain in 2020, and I think I'm going to be doing even better this year in 2021 because we've already started off with a bang. So there you go, guys. Have a good time. Come over here, profitpilot.com, and check out the subscriptions and the classes if you guys are interested. Until then,